You're a captain for Southwest?
Me, I'm a captain for Southwest Airlines right now. Been a captain for about 6 years.
Okay.
I've been with Southwest for 17 years
Wow.
and based in Las Vegas. Not flying now due to COVID. I'm on what they call XTO.
Okay. What,
That's,
explain XTO to people who may
that's
not know.
emergency extended leave off,
Okay.
time off. That's voluntarily, and you get about half pay.
Okay.
I'm getting half pay right now to sit at home.
So it doesn't sound too bad to me, honestly.
No, it's not bad at all, brother. Not bad at all.
So what's your earliest your earliest memory of aviation? Like what got you into, aviation?
Earliest memory, well, my grandfather was a ramp agent at TWA,
Okay.
and we lived South Queens, which is near JFK, and we used to go to JFK all the time, and I would see the planes, and you know, I just wanted to be a pilot. And I told
Yeah.
my parents, I was about 8 and 9, I want to be a pilot, and I stuck with it.
So how did you like go from knowing that you wanted to be a pilot at 8 or 9 to your first, I guess, flight lesson or ground lesson?
Well, my flight path, you do flight training, cross country training, yes,
Hmm.
and you go from here and you go to this point right there. I did the Bumblebee path.
Okay.
I went to Florida Tech down in Melbourne for a while. I dropped out. I after that I went in the Army. I drove trucks for a while. I came out. I went back to Florida Tech. I dropped out again and went back to New York. I was DJing and I was a security guard working on the ramp for those agencies where you're not really an airline employee.
Yeah.
No. Um, and then I started working for Verizon. That was like my first real job. And I started making money. So I was like, I got to get back to flying. That was like 1995. So I was lucky enough to get an internship, went to Northwest and came back in 96. I started flight instructing, flying charters, Baron 58. Then I built my time up 99. I got hired at Chautauqua, flying regionals. And then 04, I got hired at Southwest.
Wow. And then ever since then, you've been working with Southwest?
Yes. Yeah. This is my retirement. I retire in 5 years.
Oh, wow.
So I'm 60.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm almost done. I got 15,000 hours, about 5,000 PIC in the 737.
That's tough. That's
Yeah.
tough to be able to relate to it since you experience all the ratings. You passed everything. What was your hardest rating or certificate that you received?
I got my flight engineer rating. I got the full rating.
Okay.
So going through that, the systems, everything's kind of electronic now. But back then, everything was really more manual, more analog. So you have big checklists, a lot of memory items. It was 747-200.
Yep.
So it was a lot of airplane. And at that time that I got my FE, I had about 300 hours.
Okay.
So I was
You were
really,
fresh. Yeah.
yeah, I was really a baby pilot, really behind the curve. A lot of stuff that happens. Most of the guys in the class with me were 7,000-8,000 guys.
Okay. So they were up there.
We didn't have any ladies in the group, but it taught me how to learn systems, group, the group studying thing and stick together. In aviation, we have a thing called the gouge, how to get the gouge and prepare yourself for those orals.
Okay. Do you remember anything, any like significant part about your private training?
My private training?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Private pilot, I just love the cross countries, man.
Yeah.
Just looking out, um, just flying time distance with the wind and looking down like, okay, there's the spot I set,
Yep.
writing it down and going, there's the spot I said I would be here at 7:58. I'm here at 7:59 and adjusting for fuel and everything like that.
Yeah.
I really like that.
We talked about your hardest rating, but tell me about a time that you felt like you were treated differently because of your skin color in your flight training.
Oh, in flight training, because
Yeah.
I've been treated different
Has
since
there
I
ever,
was
yeah, of course. I mean,
born.
of course. Uh,
Well,
but like
the
flight
thing is,
training specifically.
the thing is this, and this is important to understand. Let's know what the game is.
Hmm.
3% African American, 1% less than 1%, half of 1% African American females.
Hmm.
So it's not a lot of us out there.
And we're
That
talking about the aviation industry, right?
aviation, I'm talking about at any C-level suite,
Hmm.
any when you get up to executive vice president and above, lawyers, judges, doctors.
Yep.
Anytime you get up there, you find it's a constant 3 to 5, 6%. So this is not unique to aviation. This is not unique, to us.
Right.
So when was the time I was treated differently?
Yep.
Yesterday. I'm always treated differently. You're going to always be treated differently. You're going to always have to be better.
Yep.
You're always going to have to set the standard, and when you are treated differently, what you need to do is reach out to groups like yours that are providing support.
Hmm.
Okay. And don't let it catch you by surprise. I'm always surprised when people are like, I can't believe this happened. You should have expected that to happen.
Right.
You're going to find some true friends on all spectrums of women, female, black, white, trans, gay, straight. You're going to have friends, you're going to have enemies. You got to stick with those people that think like you, no matter what color they are, and get through that training. But you're gonna be treated differently, especially when you have no experience.
Yep.
Because they're gonna look at you, and they seen people like us come and go. I mean, I remember being in college, first time I went to FIT, and they said, look to the left, look to the right. Only one of you guys are going to be here next year. And that wasn't a white black thing. So
Yep.
you got flight washout on top of that.
When you went to FIT, what was your major?
Flight technology.
Okay. What was that like going to school there at that time?
It was a blast, man.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was from New York City. I went to Florida, and we were living on the beach. I made friends that I'm friends with to this very day. And we had a really good cadre of instructors, a lot of ex-military guys. So they really, really taught us how to fly.
Okay.
They really
What plane did you start off in at FIT? Was
Cherokee 140.
Oh.
Yeah.
What's some advice that you would give to, like a student pilot or a fresh private pilot, if their end goal is the airlines?
If your goal is the airlines, I would say stick with it, study hard, get yourself a mentor or 2 or 3. Don't be afraid to reach out for help. And just because you have the money to fly doesn't mean you're a pilot.
Yeah.
If I buy a piano, I'm not Stevie Wonder. Okay. So everyone I meet, they're like, if I just had $100,000, I'd be a CFI.
Yeah.
No, sir.
I don't think so.
No, ma'am. That's not the way it works. It's a lot of hard work, discipline. Okay. You got to live. Us pilots, we live, eat, sleep flying. It's the way we talk, the way we walk. If I'm at the hotel, pilot walks I'm gonna know who the pilots are right away.
Mhm.
It's the same way with fishermen, same way with police officers, firemen. You have that certain mentality. We have a certain slang, like we're all counting on you. That's an aviation thing, So the question was, how would you get there?
Yeah, like what's some advice you'd give?
Perseverance.
Perseverance. Okay.
And here's one. Do not take your check ride too early.
Oh, that's a good one.
Do not take your check ride. Listen to your instructor. First of all, get yourself a good instructor. Don't be afraid to fire them if they're not. Because realize, even if you're a student, you're paying a lot of money to get flight training.
Yep.
So don't be afraid to fire your flight instructor. It might not be that they're a bad instructor.
They're just not the best to
be
do.
It's not a good mix.
Right. Right. Trust me.
It might not be a racial thing.
Yeah. Some people just don't learn well.
Like I was from New York, so I bought a lot of that New York swag, and that didn't really mesh. That really didn't mesh in the aviation world.
Like personally, what do you think is a skill, like a common trait shared among pilots?
Ability to get stuff done,
Mm-hmm.
adherence to regulations and safety, and once you get to the crew environment, ability to get along with others.
Yep.
And to lead. Because once you get to that point where you're a captain, you'll have to go through the regional ranks probably first. They want to see that you have leadership. You're going to make the right decisions. You may have a lot of jobs where, especially before you get to a major airline, where they tell you to do something that just isn't right. You have to be able to make that decision.
Pre-pandemic, what did a typical day look like for you? Like how many flights would you get in per day, would you say?
Well, Southwest, sometimes we have one flight. Sometimes we might have 4 flights.
Would that one flight be longer, or would it just be like?
It could be long. It could be longer or short. I could have one flight, Baltimore to San Francisco. Or I could have one flight, Baltimore to Atlanta, Baltimore to Boston. Or I could go Baltimore, Chicago, Boston, and then there. So the number of flights varies. They put out a schedule and then you bid. Everything in the airline is seniority based. Right. So how you get your pay, your vacation, what schedules you get, all that seniority.
So would you say that you were flying, more flights per day when you were, at the regionals compared to now when you're the major?
Way more at the regionals. Yes.
Yeah.
Way more at the regionals. Some of my schedules, I look at my logbooks, I flew 7-8 legs a day.
Oh, wow.
In the regionals. That was back in the turboprop days.
Yeah.
So we have 20, 30-minute flights.
Jeez. Wow.
That more so than your schedule, how many flights, your personal life.
Yeah.
It takes a toll on your personal life, your way, if you choose to have a partner, how do they, nobody really understands this lifestyle. Mm-hmm. People to this day will ask me what routes do I fly when I go to a social setting. Well, you're in the military. What routes do you fly? I mean, these are holdover questions from 1950 or something.
Right. Right.
So nobody understands it. Your schedule, how you get time off, etc. If somebody wants to invite you to a big event this February, let's say it's not COVID. Mm-hmm. I'm having an event in November. Can you come? I don't know.
Right.
Because I don't have my November schedule yet.
Yeah.
And I'm junior. I'll probably have to work Saturday. And most people, if you have a wedding or something, it's on Saturday. So you miss a lot of that.
But then in return, though, how do you feel like your schedule is now as a captain? Are you comfortable with how open? I
Oh
mean,
yeah.
obviously pre pandemic,
Oh yeah. Now I get the good schedules because I'm senior.
right? So how
Yeah.
many days a week do you think you were working?
On a pre-COVID,
Yeah, pre-COVID, all
yeah,
pre-COVID.
3 days, and then we would even have. Let me see if I could pull up one of my schedules.
Okay.
See what I got for you. Yeah, but it's not. Let's not concentrate on that. Because you don't get into it. For the days off, stuff like that for the pay.
Right. You have
Most
to
of us,
love flying.
to get from to make it in the long haul from where you are, get on the other side of the screen where I am, you're going to have to really enjoy flying.
Hmm.
And not just flying airplanes, but the lifestyle of being a professional pilot, staying in hotel rooms, being away from people, stuff like that, you know,
Hmm.
uh, being with just a crew, not being supervised and being mature enough, to just not do anything, keeping yourself healthy, stuff like that. That's more so than the schedule, I always say. It's a lifestyle.
Right.
I can't stay in hotel rooms now. When I'm on vacation, thank goodness they came up with VRBO, because I just, rent a house or something. The nicest hotel, you could put me in Four Seasons or whatever.
It's
I
not
don't
happening.
want. I don't like hotels.
I see. I see. Well, I mean, like I here's something that I want to like let the listeners in the community know. It's
Yeah.
not to me, like this is just a personal opinion. I feel
Yeah.
like flying, beats a 9 to 5 any day of the week. You know what I
Oh
mean?
yeah. Yes.
Obviously, there's going to be sacrifices in any profession that you do, but I
Right.
mean, do the pros outweigh the cons of whatever the situation may be?
I'm not a 9 to 5 guy, so
Right.
some people they love 9 to 5.
Yeah.
It's just what is for you.
Right.
Some people they become pilots and because of their personality, they migrate back to the 9 to 5 as check airmen or instructors or something like that.
Hmm.
I had a very good friend. We were at the regional level, together, and he stopped flying and went to work at flight safety
Oh.
because he didn't want to be on the road. And he
Hmm.
had young kids. His kids were young. It's like, you know what? This just isn't for me.
Yeah.
He was a good pilot, man. He's a really, really good pilot.
What's something if you were me, I guess that you would ask yourself.
If I was you,
Yeah, it's kind of a tongue
are
twister.
you ready? When you go for those oral tests and those check rides, are you ready? All pilots, when we walk out of the oral exam, we want to say to ourselves, that wasn't that bad.
Hmm.
You want to say that you overstudied. So there's a fine line between being nervous and overstudying.
Right.
You're going to be naturally nervous taking the test, taking any test. That's natural, okay?
Hmm.
But you don't want to be underprepared. I can't stress that enough because a lot of junior pilots go into these check rides. They're not ready. They feel they're ready. They want to go. They got a schedule on their personal life, and their bank account is starting to get low. So like, I got to get this done, but it could set you back
Right.
because now with the laws of looking at your records, if you fail a check ride, that follows you for a while.
Right.
So just make sure you're ready and have a good record. Your reputation is everything.
Hmm.
Everyone's going to want to know, are you a quote unquote affirmative action baby? Are you here just because someone needs to fill a seat with a
Hmm.
black guy?
Right.
Uh, so you're carrying a lot with you when you walk into that room. You got to set the standard. On the good side, once you set that standard, your reputation is going to follow you. You got to set that reputation because everyone's going to talk about you. Okay. when it comes time for you to get hired, when you go up to hire, everybody comes up together, and then they try to make the jump to the regionals, and it's all the same people. You guys are all going to know each other, especially now with computers and chat rooms and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
Social media.
Yeah, let's talk about that one.
Stay off of social media. Unless it has something to do with you saving a kitten or something like that. I don't want to see you on social media.
So let's say there's listeners right now whose social media may not be the best. Do you think they have time to clean it up, or
yeah? Because unless I would clean it up, That's a very good point.
Mm-hmm.
Clean it up because they realize you have to have some serious tools to go back and see what was deleted.
Mm-hmm.
An employer is not going to have that. They're just going to see what's there now.
Right.
So that's a very good point. Clean up your social media, and if you want to be a pilot, put some things on there about pilots.
Yeah.
We're losing a lot of Tuskegee Airmen. If you want to put some tribute to them, or any other World War II era pilot, show your patriotism. I'm a U.S. Army veteran, stuff like that.
Right.
Because you don't want to lose a job over social media.
Right. Something silly,
Or worse, people losing their freedom over social media.
Right. They tell themselves over that. But
yeah, social media is a big one, man. It's a big one.
Yeah.
Have guys show up. I don't have money for the flight training, but they got Jordans on, brand new Jordans. They're driving a nice car.
Mm-hmm.
You got to balance that. At some point, there has to be a sacrifice.
Right.
There has to be a sacrifice. You got to be hungry. You got to want it more than anything. Because there's people out there trying to knock you down.
Oh, yeah.
You got to overcome that.
Yeah.
Whenever you go to a flight school,
mm-hmm.
there is a gouge. Every examiner has questions that they like to ask.
Mm-hmm.
So that this is part of the game, sir. You understand what I'm saying?
Yep.
So you got to get that gouge, and you have to talk to people and find out what does this guy ask? He's probably one of those guys that's hot on the hydraulics. If you get that heads up,
mm-hmm.
you could study the hydraulics and then
would have been able to answer that
question. You answer it, and he's all impressed.
Right.
It's an ego stroke for these guys. It goes beyond a white-black thing.
Mm-hmm.
It's an ego stroke because they feel they have to teach you something, and then you have to bow down to them because you're nobody. You don't even have a private pilot's license.
Right. Right.
We've seen guys like you with a dream. Tell me what's going to be different about you.
Mm-hmm.
And in that oral, you're going to show that you're serious. I can ask you anything out the blue. I can sit anyone in front of me and fail them. Anyone. God bless Chuck Yeager, rest in peace. I'll put him in front of me in his day, and I'll fail him by asking him certain questions.
Right.
We don't know everything. So but you don't want to miss the big questions that give you a thumbs down.
Right.
You're going to miss something. And this is what I always do. And this is free advice. Find out what that guy's into. Pilots into golf, boats, they have a kid in college. You want to talk about anything but airplanes. Anything but airplanes, because that clock's ticking. Every minute you got him talking about something else, he's not talking to you about airplanes. And it relaxes you too. And I guarantee you, my weakness is orals. So it's like a basketball player that can't go to the left.
Right.
I always got to work on the oral. So I'm not that smart, You know, I'm a great physical pilot, but I'm not good in orals. So what I do, I get the guys off balance, asking about talking about something else. You know,
Okay.
with airline pilots is taxes.
Mm.
You know, start complaining about taxes. You don't want to get into politics, of course, but start complaining if they got some new taxing in your area. You want to work in a camaraderie there in the oral, rather than just sit there like answering questions.
Mm-hmm.
Because now he feels he could just attack you.
Right, question after question.
Yeah, question after question. You
Right.
feel you have a good instructor now?
Yep. It's a different plane. It's the 172, the Cessna
Okay.
172. So it's
Very
back in the
forgiving.
system. It's yeah, but it's I'm not really spoiled with the G1000 anymore. I have to scan the six pack differently.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's good, man.
So that's different, but besides that, I do feel like it's better. I like the Part 61 feel more
Yeah.
than that Part 141.
And so tell me about this organization. You started, you're the founder, CEO,
Yep, founder, CEO,
CFO,
director,
financial officer, interviewer.
everything. It's all me. So really, like, the goal isn't to like make money off of it or anything. It's
Yeah.
just to open doors that people may not have known about. You know what I mean? Because when I would come back, pre-COVID and hang out with friends and like family members, they'd be like, "Oh, like, what are you in school for?" And I'd be like, "Oh, I'm going to school to be a pilot." They're like, "Oh, I didn't know you could go to school to become a
Right.
pilot. I thought it was
Right.
military only."
Right.
So really, I'm just trying to show people like, hey, like this is a route.
Awesome.
It's possible. You know what I mean?
And you're working with people in the Milwaukee area?
Right now, it's just me because nobody else is doing something like this.
No, I'm saying, I mean, you're designed to what's your target audience?
People in my community, minority people in my community.
Okay.
Women. People of color. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So really, it's just to get people inspired and get people excited about aviation. You know
Yeah,
what I
yeah.
mean?
Shouldn't be hard to do, man.
Yeah, honestly, our introductory flight, and I feel like that's all it takes.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. With your instructor, you want to find out what you want to talk to somebody that took the test right before you, one or two people,
Mm-hmm.
and get a debrief from them. What does this guy or gal ask?
Right. What is he like?
You know, what curveballs came at you that you weren't expecting?
Right.
All right.
Right.
That's the thing, man. That's the key to success in this game. Besides being a good pilot, you got three eight. I'm going to say you're a pretty smart guy.
Mm-hmm. I mean,
So
grades are grades. You know what I mean?
well,
And
you're disciplined, obviously. Don't downplay that. To get 3.8, you're not playing around. So
right.
you should be proud of that, man.
Yeah.
How many credits you got?
Right now, I'm credit wise, I'm near a junior, like
Oh
first
wow,
semester junior, because I've been in school since after high school graduation. I took summer semesters.
wow.
Um, this is the first time I really had like a break. You know what I mean? That's why I
Okay.
took this semester off. But yeah, close to finishing my junior year technically.
Wow, wow, wow. All right, so all you gotta do is finish school and get these ratings, man. And
Yep.
then what's your plan? Flight instructor or
Flight instruct. I'm thinking about buying my own plane,
yeah.
and then just building time that way.
Uh-huh.
CFI, if that's an option, I'm not going to be picky about how the journey goes because it's not the end goal. You know what I mean?
And we don't know what's going to happen between now and that time.
Right.
I mean, by the time you progress through, you got to get your instrument, commercial, multi.
Right.
What would you say that time frame is? Minimum 9 months, probably 18 months
For
after you
all those
right.
ratings,
Yeah, like how long does it take at the
um,
school?
at the school, it's not. It's like you can complete it in, if you go through, like the summer training, because that's
Yeah.
really when there's a lot of openings.
Okay.
You could get it done in 3 years, but that's money is, the biggest factor really for a lot of
Yes.
people.
Yes.
Um,
Yes.
you know, but if that money's there, I mean, of course you can go through all the ratings as quick as you
Yeah.
want, as long as you're passing them.
Right. Right. Call anytime, brother.
All right, take care.
All right. Later.